Desmond, good evening from the Principality, where two multi-million-pound teams have just taken the field in this millionaires' playground of Monaco. This match now being played on a one-off basis as opposed to the former two legs for the Super Cup, and it's part of a high-profile UEFA weekend which has included, as you must know by now, the draws for the three European competitions. That's in their present form, and discussions in the VIP boxes about the future format of European club football. There's a meeting indeed tomorrow to take that possibly a stage further. 145 countries will watch these pictures, 22 taking the match live, but not a big crowd in the Stade Louis II. The stadium only holds about 15,000, and I would say there are about 5,000 supporters here tonight, roughly split 2,500 between Chelsea and Real Madrid. The gate money certainly won't break the bank at Monte Carlo. The UEFA anthem, or a part of it, is the formal pre-match music. And nice to see both clubs in their traditional colours, Chelsea in blue. And there's Gianluca Vialli, who hasn't named himself among the subs. Real Madrid in the celebrated white strip, with which, of course, they pioneered European football. Look at their team here. Ildner of Germany in goal, Panucci, Italy, Aero and Sanchez, Spain, Roberto Carlos, Brazil, Carambo, France, Seedorf, Holland, Redondo, Argentina, Savio, Brazil, Mijatovic, Yugoslavia, and Raul of Spain. And if you think that's a team drawn from just about all over the world, well, you could probably say almost the same about Chelsea, as you'll see in just a moment. But these are famous names now. De Goey, the Dutch goalkeeper, Ferrer from Spain, Desailly and Leboeuf from the France World Cup winning side. Then a couple of Englishmen, three in fact, Le Saux, Dubry and Wise, Di Matteo of Italy, Babayaro of Nigeria, Zola of Italy, and another Italian, Casiraghi. That's the starting lineup. And there are some big transfer figures among the substitutes too. So it wasn't an easy selection for Vialli tonight. The sort of match that everybody wants to play. And Graham Rick's there, the Chelsea coach. And there are the subs. And Morientes there, who's scored some goals for Spain. And Yanni, who's come from Croatia, or rather from Betis of Seville, the Croatian international who Coventry thought they'd signed a few weeks ago. And on the Chelsea bench, Brian Laudrup, who, as Desmond said, we expect to see tonight on the field making his Chelsea debut. Poyet can't get in the starting lineup, and neither can Tore Andre Flo. And on show, not just the Super Cup, but also the two trophies that brought these two clubs here. And if there is a downside to the occasion, Mark Lawrenson, I rather feel it might be the playing surface. Yes, John, not wishing to put a damper on the occasion, but the pitch is very, very poor, we can see from our commentary position. It looks as though, in fact, the tractor's been up and down. It's certainly on this near side, and it's amazing, you know, whatever time of the year you come to this ground in this fantastic setting that it's in, that the pitch is always very, very poor. I think a point we certainly tell our viewers is the fact that it's on the second floor of this stadium, and quite honestly, John, I don't think there are any great roots that grow underneath the pitch. Consequently, it digs up very, very easily. It's very, very bobbly. I've been here on a couple of occasions with Newcastle and Manchester United, and it has not been good. Not a happy hunting ground for English clubs, really. Manchester United drew here 0-0 last season in the Champions League, and then, of course, went out on the away goal at Old Trafford. And when you were with Newcastle, Mark, 2 years ago, they lost 3-0 here in the UEFA Cup, I remember. You don't need to remind me, John. It's very, very vivid, I can assure you. Well, we have a World Cup referee here. This is Marc Batta, who Graeme Le Saux will remember because he took charge of England versus Romania in the World Cup. And Chelsea, too, have some history with him. He took charge of one of their semi-finals against Vicenza last season. So Real playing from left to right in the first half. And may look as if they're going to play a flat-back four. This is Panucci, the Italian, at number 2. And Carambo has started on the right-hand side of midfield. This Nissan-sponsored Super Cup being brought forward to the start of the season. And there's the German goalkeeper, Bodo Ildner, who was doubtful until yesterday with an ankle injury. Let's just clear up the Dubry factor. We had him on our caption, John, as playing on the right-hand side of midfield. He's actually playing in the back four, and Desailly, I think you'll find, will be the anchor man, the holding man in front of those two central defenders. Yes, that's a good spot in the field against Newcastle last Saturday, and so Chelsea have preserved that particular part of the team. And here's Ferrer, who is in fact a holder of a winner's medal in this competition. He was in the Barcelona team that beat Borussia Dortmund in the two-leg Super Cup last season. There goes Roberto Carlos on the left-hand side. Savio, fellow Brazilian of his who joined Real last season from Flamengo. And there's a foul, a late challenge there. Mr. Batta was right on it.
I think it's just Carlos, Roberto Carlos is clattered into the back of Dennis Wise, and fortunately for Roberto Carlos, Wise got up and shook his hand, which I think saved him from getting a booking. I know it's a so-called friendly, but the referee was half tempted to pull out the yellow.
Ought to just remind viewers that Dennis Wise is allowed to play in this competition, even though he's currently in the middle of a domestic suspension. And there are also two well-known absentees tonight. Petrescu of Chelsea is suspended because he was sent off in the Cup Winners' Cup final. Davio Suker, the top scorer in the World Cup, is injured and can't take part for Real Madrid. Babayaro, who scored for Chelsea on Saturday. Here's Michael Dewberry. Tremendous collection of VIPs in the President's box here tonight. Tony Banks, the Minister of Sport, is here, but then he's entitled to be, being a committed Chelsea supporter. Here's Panucci with the throw. This is Mijatovic, who scored the winning goal, as you saw in the final against Juventus. Piero. I don't remember being at a club match, Mark, when there are so many players on the field who cost such vast sums of money. Yeah,
it's marvellous talent out there, isn't it? I think in terms of the game as well, the game has started quite brightly. I thought there might be a tendency, John, to the fact that, you know, you have the ball, we have the ball, it's a showpiece game, let's not get too involved. But that certainly doesn't seem to be the case, certainly with Carlos's tackle on Dennis Wise. And there have been one or two challenges in the early stages which suggest we're going to have a decent game here.
Yes, and both coaches kept their lineups very close to their chest prior to the match. There's been no easing up in that area. There's a trophy to be won after all, and the Super Cup has become one of the range of European competitions in recent years that clubs like to get onto the sideboard. Here's Hierro to Roberto Carlos. Savio over there on the left there, who I've seen on a couple of videos of Real's pre-season games, is a clever Brazilian who may give Chelsea a bit of trouble. This is Seedorf. Now Mijatovic, number 8. It's a strong run, and Seedorf followed it through. Frank Leboeuf was there.
Mijatovic would seem to be the key, certainly for Real Madrid. He's the man who scored the goal in the Champions League final, the man who always likes to come off his markers as well. And I think Desailly has got an important job for Chelsea. He's round about that area, and he's probably relying on him, Chelsea, just to pick him up when he drops deep.
Also, he's got Raul playing up with him, Marc, who's something of a cross between a midfield player and a striker, isn't he? But he can float off Mijatovic, I presume.
He can, John. I think he's a bit of an enigma, Raul. He's got every ability, great, certainly, strength, quick. Doesn't really produce enough for what he's got, for my money.
Well, we'll see what he can do tonight. It's a good stage for them all. Flick on there was by Casiraghi. Roberto Carlos to Savio. The minute he plays it, Roberto Carlos is off down that left wing. Being marked by Ferrer at the moment. This is still Savio on the ball. Nice warm evening, the flags are fluttering in the breeze. Oh, Robert's header went straight to Raul there, and he got in the first meaningful shot of the night.
Yeah, good run by Mijatovic, wasn't it? Leboeuf did the easy thing, which was get in front and realise the situation, but it's good off his palate.
Babayaro there was up with Casiraghi. That could be a good battle. So many of these players know each other inside out from previous European contests in the different competitions. Not all with the same clubs, of course. Forward ball by Wise finds Casiraghi offside.
Just Chelsea try and find the man at the moment. Real Madrid have settled down rather quicker than Chelsea. Quite surprising in a way, because Madrid not started their league season yet. Chelsea already 2 games in, so you would think from a fitness point of view that Chelsea would have the edge.
The way the Chelsea midfield is lined up at the moment, Mark, Dennis Wise is on the right-hand side, which means he might come into contact with Roberto Carlos a bit.
It won't be a battle of the heavyweights, John, will it?
2 of the smallest men I think I've ever seen on a football field. Anyway, here's Graeme Le Saux. Here's Desailly. Back to Dewberry. It's a bit long for Zola.
Yeah, you're going to have to learn it. Certainly the likes of Dewberry, very, very promising player, good defender, but with the ball at his feet at this level of the competition, you cannot afford to give the ball away. You might not see it come back for another 5 minutes.
Roberto Carlos to Savio. He has got some pace, this Brazilian, and that was a body check by Ferrer. And we're going to see how the referee treats this match. Is it going to be a case of, yes, I think it is, yellow cards notwithstanding? That's a trip there. Well, not a trip, it finished up as one, really. Just put a leg out, Ferrer, and looked to me as though the referee held up a card there.
Yeah, I think he's definitely got a yellow. He just blocked him off, didn't he? But it was even more blatant when he tackled by Roberto Carlos and Wise, again under the nose of the referee as well.
This is Seedorf. And Roberto Carlos once more. Raul is in the centre here with Mijatovic, who's coming in now, but De Goey got plenty of practice on crosses in that goal mouth in training last night. Edi Nijveski, the Chelsea goalkeeping coach, was firing them in from the left wing. And there is the confirmation that Albert Ferrer has got the first yellow card of the Super Cup final. And with the pitch in the condition it is, I would think goalkeepers will be a little nervy about kicking off the ground tonight, especially the moving ball. Anyway, here come Real. That's Savio with Roberto Carlos outside him. This is Raul, and Raul wanted to beat 1 man extra, and it was Frank Leboeuf who got the last tackle in. Here's Babayaro for Chelsea. And that's rather short as well, bringing De Goey out to the feet of Raul. One very famous previous meeting between the 2 clubs in Europe. Nobody surely of Chelsea origin needs reminding of that. The Cup Winners' Cup final back in 1971, when Dave Sexton's Chelsea beat Real Madrid in a replay in Athens.
Just don't feel that Chelsea have really settled so far. I think that's the problem, is when they've had the ball, they've given it away. And one thing about any great side, and Real Madrid and Daka, great side, they don't half work hard when they don't have the ball. The pressure from the midfield players has been excellent.
Di Matteo got one of his first touches there in that Chelsea build-up, number 16. And here's number 14, Le Saux. He's got Carambo up against him on this side of the pitch. Zola in conversation with the referee as Babayaro gets possession. Now Di Matteo, Desailly moving forward midfield. Leboeuf. This is Desailly. Ferrer had moved forward on the far side. This is Wise. Desailly again. Di Matteo. Wise. So Sanchez, who half got it away. Redondo didn't quite complete the clearance, but it's a free kick.
It was better from Chelsea, though, wasn't it? They strung 7 or 8 passes together, and nice little run by Ferrer, which just gave Wise half a yard of space to deliver the cross, which unfortunately wasn't quite good enough.
You may have noticed that Redondo, the Argentine, has now got a very conservative haircut compared to the one he used to have, and it was his long hair that initially got him at odds with Daniel Passarella and was partly responsible for him being left out of the World Cup squad. He's number 6 for Real Madrid, Redondo.
I wouldn't mind, John, but Passarella's finished now as well, isn't he? He could have kept it.
Absolutely. Maybe the new coach will have more time for him. Mijatovic working deep, and Savio. This is Seedorf. Now Carambeau. Didn't really get many starts, the Franks, in the World Cup. Just the one, and then some substitute appearances. Here's Seedorf, who was much the same for Holland. Now this might work for Casiraghi. He's got Zola away to his right. Redondo gets a foot in twice. Flags up on this side. Referee hasn't seen it yet. There's an offside decision been made here by the assistant.
We saw the pressure on the ball straight away. When the ball landed at Casiraghi's feet, he's immediately surrounded by 3-4 white-shirted Real Madrid players. Very, very quick they are to spot any danger.
Wise looks for Zola. Sanchez, who's been at Real Madrid longer than anybody else. Actually, first joined the club in 1979 as a junior. There's Le Saux. Roberto Carlos to Redondo. Seedorf picking up the return from Panucci. And from Redondo. And now Panucci again. Mijatovic is in the centre, so is Raul. Roberto Carlos, good running from Carambeau from right to left. This is Savio. Carambeau.
Certainly interested, isn't the pairing down the left for Madrid of Carlos and Savio. I think they're going to cause a lot of defences in the Primera Liga, lots of problems. You've not just got one running it, you've got both running it, and they both look very, very pacey.
Looked as though Vialli was signalling to Chelsea to get a bit further up the pitch there, Marc. Whether he feels they're playing a bit deep, I don't know.
I think both are, John. I think both teams are playing deep, and consequently it's allowing the midfield players just a split second on the ball to pick the passes out, but generally in those terms it's not creating many chances in the game.
Not so far. Did I see Michel Platini there?
I don't think he's changed his suit for the World Cup, has he?
Well, I was wondering where the front shirt had gone, actually, but it wouldn't be a football match in Europe unless he was sitting in the stand, would it?
Rent a crowd he is.
Gus Hiddink, who was in charge of Holland in the tournament in France, and then almost immediately came to Real Madrid, who of course sacked their coach Jupp Heynckes after he won the European Champions Cup. Quarter of an hour gone in the Super Cup, and no score in Monaco.
À mésentente, là-bas sur le côté avec Redondo et Savio. 30 ans, Fernando Hierro, 1m87, 84 kg, beaucoup de présence, beaucoup de prestance.
It's an interesting experiment for Chelsea with Wise playing on the right hand side. I can't believe they're going to go through this season with him in that position with Brian Laudrup.
Utiliser son corps avec un petit peu trop.
That'll be a case of when Wise moves into the centre of midfield. What exactly Chelsea do with Desailly? I would have thought Johnny will spend the majority of his season certainly at the back, whether it's in one of the 3 centre defenders or one of 2.
Yes, they've got lots of options, haven't they, with a squad that size, and most of them expecting first-team football. This is Panucci. Seedorf. Oh, good skill by the Dutchman. Now Raul waiting, Mijatovic waiting. There's his header. Savio is coming in here.
Good challenge from Dennis Wise, wasn't it? Aware of the danger, and he just hurried Savio up and eventually made the clearance.
This is Babayaro. It's not going very far from Zola. And that's on. No, it's not. Late flag. Just for a minute, I thought the assistant had let that go. It was Mijatovic who knows it was a fractional decision.
It was a close call, certainly was. It was a great ball as well to play, and Chelsea had actually just started to push up in that instance, so we're almost caught cold, and it is a criticism you can level at them in the Premier League. They certainly conceded a goal against Coventry where Ian Dublin just flicked a ball on and Huckabee was away behind them.
There goes Zola. He's got Sanchis with him. Oh, and Casiraghi coming in, and so is Babayaro! That was a good chance for Chelsea. Babayaro dragged his shot across the... And now Ildner having to just make sure that one goes safely over. Now, I think that's something to do with the pitch here.
It's a great ball in, wasn't it? Nothing wrong with the pitch there, John. Babayaro really, it's very, very tentative, wasn't quite sure. With any bit of confidence, at least strike the goal against the goalkeeper.
Yes, that was Chelsea's best opening so far, without question. Redondo and Seedorf have set up shop in central midfield for Real. They're getting quite a lot of the ball at the moment. Di Matteo. Zola. Beaten by Redondo. Now Roberto Carlos. And again, it was Raul who had the initial run. Roberto Carlos has stayed upfield just for the moment as Real Madrid regain possession. This is the other fullback, Panucci.
I actually feel quite sorry for Zola and Casiraghi at the moment. They're really having very, very little of the ball. The service up to them is very, very poor, and you just know with Zola, when you do deliver the ball into him, he can create something for you, like the chance he created for Babayaro, but at the moment himself and Casiraghi are just chasing white shirts.
Hands against Seedorf, and Chelsea maybe have got a chance here to push 1 or 2 players on. Desailly takes the free kick, headed out by Carambo. Savio to Redondo. Raul. Redondo again, Roberto Carlos. Real Madrid, like Chelsea, have been allowed to delay their opening league match because of this Super Cup. They're playing on Monday night, in fact, Real against Villarreal, who've been promoted. Chelsea's match against Manchester United has been put back to December. Would have been played this weekend. Now then, here's Zola on the ball for Chelsea to Casiraghi, who couldn't get it under control.
There lies Chelsea's problem. Zola got the ball and is immediately surrounded by 3 or 4 white shirts. He had no one in support. Casiraghi trying to get there. You're going to have to look for people like Di Matteo from midfield, with Desailly being the holding player. and Wise playing out on the right-hand side, Babayaro on the left. It's up to Di Matteo really to try and support his front two players.
It's a long way off yet, but should this match be drawn after 90 minutes, we go into the golden goal sequence of extra time, and if that doesn't resolve it, there is provision tonight for a penalty shootout. Somebody has to win that cup. Here's Panucci. Well, Mijatovic has now come right across to play temporarily on this right-hand side of the field for Real. It's Redondo on the ball on the far side. They're just switching around a bit at the moment, the Spaniards. Or the Spanish team, I should say, because there aren't many Spaniards in it. That's from Seedorf, and it's looking for Raul. He just chased a flick on there, and De Goey can't save the corner. And when we've seen one or two Real Madrid corners in their pre-season games, Roberto Carlos has been belting them in from the left-hand side. And the man to watch for in the middle, among others, is Hierro, the number 4, who can be quite a threat at set plays. Panucci is also forward number 2, being marked by Desailly at the moment. Leboeuf gets his head to it first, on by Le Saux, back by Sanchez. Wise, and Chelsea spreading out here. They've got a chance of a break with Le Saux. In fact, that'd have been a better ball, but here's Desailly, and Wise on the far side. Desailly in the penalty area now with Casiraghi, and it's Chelsea's turn to force the corner.
Roberto Carlos took the corner, Johnny. He's made about 100 yards to get back and get the challenge in. Sign of a top-class player.
Well, Wise will take this one for Chelsea, and Leboeuf has come forward into the 6-yard box, accompanied by Di Matteo, and Desailly is having quite a tussle here, and the referee stopped the corner because there was some pushing and shoving in the penalty area. We've seen a lot of that recently. One's mind goes back to the World Cup, and Desailly, who was sent off in the final in Paris, wants to just disentangle himself from Panucci, I feel. They're still at it. And the header from Di Matteo. This is quite prevalent now, Mark, the pushing and pulling and holding in penalty areas prior to corners. Is that, do you think, something that's crept in, or was it always there?
I think it's always been there, John, and I think the fact that in every game televised now highlights it somewhat more, but we've seen it already in our own league, haven't we, with Davizas. Start of the season with Rufus, and Rufus got sent off for what was quite innocuous, really.
Yes, he misses 3 games as well. It was a little harsh, that, I think, when you had the benefit of the replay. But anyway, this is the Super Cup we're concentrating on now. Forward by Panucci. And that was Mijatovic, and that was Raul, and that was a hurried interception by Leboeuf.
Leboeuf started very brightly, actually, hasn't he? I think 3 or 4 occasions already he plays as a last man anyway, and Dubarry's the man who attacks the ball, but he's been alert 3 or 4 occasions just to get it either a head or a foot, just to clear the danger.
That offside decision didn't please Graham Ricks, who's had a word with the 4th official down on the touchline. In fact, they're still in conversation. Seedorf moving into a receptive position for Panucci, and Real Madrid just happy to push the ball across the pitch at the moment. This is Roberto Carlos back to Redondo, and he was dwelling a little as Zola came in. "25 minutes gone in Monaco." Curiously, for all their history, Real Madrid have never played in this Super Cup before. It's been won 4 times by English teams. Here's Raul.
Rather unfortunate, brilliant play in the middle of the park by Seedorf. Just felt where his mark was, just lifted it over him, got the return and set Real Madrid onto the attack once again.
Liverpool, Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa and Manchester United, previous winners of this competition. 4 defeats as well. Liverpool twice, Nottingham Forest and Arsenal. Here's Carambo for Real Madrid. That was Raul trying to find Mijatovic, but that axis isn't working so far up front for Real Madrid. Now Desailly. Wise trying to penetrate. Comes off the head of Panucci. It's a corner to Chelsea.
I think it'll be wise again, just deliver this in. Last time they caused Real Madrid 1 or 2 problems in their own penalty area. Di Matteo with a header which he didn't make great connection with, but they'll be looking for some movement here from certainly the players in the penalty area once Dennis Wise comes up to play. That's the key really from the corners, is you've got to have movement before you deliver the ball in.
Well, they've sent Leboeuf up, Desailly and Dewberry this time. But it was comfortable for Bodo Illner, the English-speaking goalkeeper who played in 2 World Cups for Germany. And the referee having a good look at what goes on in the penalty area there. Here's Redondo. Panucci here, an accomplished player, but didn't get selected by Cesare Maldini for the Italian World Cup squad. One of the surprising omissions. Roberto Carlos tries to get Savio in.
I think a lot of people would say the same about Casiraghi, John, as well, I think, in the Italian squad.
Yes, absolutely. And you could say it about Zola, couldn't you?
Certainly could.
Here's Roberto Carlos, who was there with Brazil, but perhaps not as prominent in the final as you might have expected. That went for most of his teammates. Mijatovic. Seedorf trying to pick that up from Raul. Good interception by Frank Leboeuf, who gets the free kick.
Again, good position by Leboeuf, isn't it? You can see his brain always working, always watching, always... I think he's a good defender in those situations because he spots the danger, he doesn't react to it, he kind of cuts the danger off at source. His problem is when the balls get played in and then he's got to come and attack them in the air.
A lot of his family and friends among the crowd here in Monaco tonight, Frank Leboeuf. What a start he's made at Chelsea. 3 trophies in 2 seasons, and it could be 4 tonight. Here's Redondo. If you've joined us late, you haven't missed too much in the way of goalmouth action. 1 shot at each end so far. This is Le Saux. And this is Hierro. That's a free kick.
His performance in the Champions League final was something special, wasn't it? What's he stand for, Hierro? Iron? He certainly is a man of iron.
Absolutely, aptly named. And in spite of Spain's disappointing World Cup, he was probably their leading player there too. Graeme Le Saux drifts that one down the left flank to Di Matteo. Who wants it again. And this is Le Saux again. That's a good driven cross, and Wise was coming in on the far side.
Lovely cross, wasn't it?
It was.
Just drove it in there and hit it in there. And he's, you know, just looking for somebody to get on the end of it. And at least when you get them in there, forwards will start to go after those.
was just about to say, I think in his Wimbledon days, Wise did have a spell in the wide position of midfield, didn't he?
He did, but he's a far better player centrally, John, because he gets more involved in the game, obviously, and he's very, very good at stopping the opposition and closing the opposition down when they've got the ball, and he leads by inspiration from that position. You just feel on the right-hand side he's slightly lost somewhere.
Yes. This is Seedorf, who certainly isn't lost in this first half. He's had plenty of good touches. Roberto Carlos now. 3 up for Real Madrid. Raul's made a run inside. Here's Mijatovic. Free kick given against Le Saux. And it's, one's tempted to say this every time he plays, Roberto Carlos territory, this. It's just about 25 yards or a bit more central. And De Goey will know all about the threat here.
Try getting the ball off Roberto Carlos.
Yes, it was in a tournament in France where he probably scored his most bewildering of all free kicks. But Hierro can strike them as well. I noticed that in previous matches, and I don't know whether perhaps he's lined this one up. Carlos is there, but Hierro's standing in the more threatening position at the moment, but we'll see. No, Roberto Carlos has gone back for the run-up. Oh, and the referee's got his hand in. He's booked somebody in the Chelsea wall, presumably for not retreating. Mind you, he could have booked the whole wall there. None of them were 10 yards away, Mark, were they?
No, but you think they'd want to retreat if Roberto Carlos has stood over it.
Well, he's got his card out again. I think, or maybe he's just denoting the name. And it's Hierro who curls it, and he's hit the post. Well, you were dabbing the pad there, Mark, saying he was going to take it, and it very nearly came off for Real Madrid.
I don't think De Goey saw it until very, very late, John. That was half the problem. Not struck with great power, but lots of bend, lots of swerve on it. De Goey was certainly beaten, very, very unfortunate.
Yes, I'm just wondering whether the Chelsea players were actually expecting Roberto Carlos to take it. Anyway, that's the nearest we've been to a goal.
I think the position the free kick was in, it was right in the middle of the goal, wasn't it? Which obviously allows your left-footed or right-footed player to take it.
This is Seedorf. Just a point about the laws of the game there, you know, Mark. It's often been suggested that if players won't retreat, football could one day adopt the rugby principle, and the kick would be moved on, and that would make it a penalty, wouldn't it?
They'd soon stop, John, as well, though.
Well, that would be the purpose of it, wouldn't it? To get them to...
There it is again, a great free kick from such a distance as well.
I think De Goey is injured. It may even have been him going across to try to save that. And Chelsea have just got Kevin Hitchcock off the bench in case.
Well, I'm not quite sure what he's done here. The way he got up very, very gingerly would suggest that he's got some kind of a leg injury. As to what, or even his back.
Well, Graham Rix is taking time out to conduct a coaching session on the touchline with Babayaro and Dewberry, but De Goey has limped back towards his goal after attention.
Mind you, always looks good, John, when you get injured after someone nearly scores. Takes the pressure off.
I think it might have been Babayaro, Mark, who was actually shown the yellow card for not retreating in that wall.
The thing about that was there was 5 Chelsea players. Why doesn't he book all of them if he's going to book one of them? They're all in a line.
Absolutely.
We'll soon see how fit De Goey is now. He's going to take the goal kick.
This is the kick again, which beat him down to the right-hand side and came back off the post. Hitchcock is still actually exercising down the touchline in case De Goey can't carry on. Chelsea have 3 goalkeepers here. Dmitry Karin, the Russian, is the other one. Mijatovic. Play on. Le Saux. Casiraghi. Redondo. Wise gets tangled up with him. Oh, it was a good touch by Redondo. He's found Mijatovic. This is Karambo. Raul is in the middle, being joined by Savio now. And out by Leboeuf. Still Hitchcock prepares, and still De Goey looks a little worried. This is Mijatovic. That's in by Le Saux, but I don't think Zola's got much chance of cottoning onto a ball like that, and he's the only one up there. Or he was then. This is Roberto Carlos. Seedorf. Redondo. Panucci. Calando. Well, does Leboeuf pass that back? No, he doesn't.
Well, that was a clever decision by Leboeuf. He's not quite sure as to the fitness of his goalkeeper, so he can't really take a chance and slip the back pass into him.
They're giving Hitchcock the number 13 jersey down on the bench. And it was Babayaro that got yellow carded there by the referee.
He got the yellow because he was nearest to the ref.
Maybe it's because he was the smallest man there. Anyway, it's Roberto Carlos intercepting a pass meant for Dennis Wise. Now Mijatovic is through. The Yugoslav is away. De Goey comes out. It's a tight angle now for Mijatovic. And he couldn't have squeezed it in from there, really. Top goal scorer in the World Cup qualifiers in Europe. Goes round De Goey, but he's just couldn't get his foot round it, could he?
Well, you could criticise his first touch, I think, but because of the pitch, he's had to just loop it over De Goey. De Goey very cleverly didn't make contact with Mijatovic, so that would have been a penalty. He would have also been sent off, and Mijatovic just couldn't quite turn it back towards a goal.
So, still no score.
I thought there was a suspicion of offside as well with Mijatovic. It looked very, very close.
He was unlucky to be flagged on one earlier. Perhaps that's just levelled it up a bit, Mark, because it was, again, a marginal decision. There's no question in my mind that De Goey is struggling to carry on. This is Seedorf with the long ball, and the defenders are keeping the ball away from their goalkeeper, perhaps for that reason. Now then, Gianfranco Zola. Oh, Hierro made the interception look so easy. This is Roberto Carlos to Savio. One of the Chelsea physios has gone behind the goal to check on De Goey. This is Panucci. Raul waiting in the centre. It's deep. Savio comes in. Oh, the whistle's gone. I think it was a foul as he jumped there. Why?
I think what probably Chelsea have decided, there wasn't much wrong with that. He just got up very, very early. Wise had no chance of beating Savio to the ball. I think it's a rather harsh decision. But going back to De Goey, I think what Chelsea have probably decided is, well, you know, half-time's coming up not too far away. Shall we just keep him on for another 7 minutes till half-time, assess the situation, or is his injury so bad that he needs to come off? But I think with the physio now coming back round to the side of the pitch, John, they must have decided just to let him play on.
Sure. Roberto Carlos down the left-hand side against Ferrer. This is forward by Di Matteo. That's a good ball. Casiraghi just a yard away from him there.
And that's the first decent pass that Casiraghi's had in the whole of the game. Something to run onto, stretch his legs. And it seemed for a moment that Ilner wasn't quite sure. He hesitated for a moment. The ball has sat up a bit more. Casiraghi would have been favourite to win it.
5 minutes to go in the first half, and I think De Goey must have told the Chelsea bench that he's happy to, or not happy, but that he'll battle on till half-time. Leboeuf looking for Zola. Hierro. What a comfortable player he looks in defence, this man.
Should bill this as David and Goliath, really. You wouldn't think such a little man could pull you down, would you?
No.
The man of iron was suddenly made of jelly, I think, once Zola put his arms on him.
Well, it was a fruitful interception because it put Real Madrid back in possession, and they're now in the Chelsea half with Redondo. Here's Seedorf, and running inside now is Carambeau. This is Panucci. Carambeau trying to get the flick on. That's Mijatovic. This is Wise. Tries to release Casiraghi on the chest. Two supporting him. One is Di Matteo. The other one was Zola, who Di Matteo was trying to find.
3 against 5 as well. Again, it seemed such a promising situation when the ball was played up to Casiraghi. Great first touch, played it off to Di Matteo. Again, 5 white shirts just descend on the ball, and all of a sudden the man in possession just can see absolutely nothing.
Here's Raul from the pass by Seedorf. And that made De Goey stretch. Not quite what he wanted at the moment.
He's not moving too well, is he?
An argument ensues between Leboeuf and Le Saux. And some words are exchanged there between the two Chelsea men. Babayaro gets the ball and also gets the free kick.
Chelsea really haven't... The shape seems all wrong at the moment. They haven't really got control of the situation, certainly of the ball for the majority of the first half. And I think generally that Real Madrid have been the stronger team again, as Di Matteo this time gives the ball away, which has been Chelsea's main failing in the first half. But Madrid just look better on the ball, they look livelier, and the movement up front with Raul and Mijatovic does cause problems for you.
A lot was made of Manchester United's tough task when that Champions League draw was made here yesterday, but Real Madrid are in a group with Inter Milan. That should be quite a meeting of minds, or 2 meetings of minds before Christmas. Chelsea have, in their defence of the Cup Winners' Cup, have drawn Helsingborgs of Sweden in the opening round, a slightly softer task, one would feel. Here's Graeme Le Saux. This is Babayaro. And now it's Di Matteo, tries to make room for a shot. Ferrer, Zola, could... No, just a touch might have carried that inside towards Casiraghi. Very much an evening for shirt sleeves in the crowd. To Seedorf. Desailly with the tackle. Mijatovic. The referee's given the free kick. Mijatovic was challenged by Leboeuf initially, and then Raul was also somewhat bundled into.
I think what the referee did, I think he was ready to give a foul against Mijatovic and decided to let play go on. The advantage with Madrid.
Then there was a second tackle, and here's Savio. Roberto Carlos having a little run around the penalty area as Madrid build up with Redondo. This is Savio again. Two Brazilians together. That's a loose ball from Roberto Carlos, very careless. Careless, not Carlos there. Anyway, it's Babayaro. Wise. Free kick to Chelsea.
There is no doubt, because of the pitch as well, that it is rather spoiling the game, because everybody, some of the class and the ability on display here, and their first touch, some of these players, is marvellous, and yet they all need to take a second touch all the time because of the pitch, as the ball just bobbles up at your feet constantly.
Well, UEFA intend to play this Super Cup here for the next 3 years, and it is disappointing to see a surface like this so early in the season. This is Redondo to Savio. This is Carambeau. Tries to get Raul through. Graeme Le Saux is the covering player. Stoppage time being played at the end of the first half. This is Mijatovic. Carambo. And backing in there gives Chelsea the free kick.
Well, I suggest to you, John, that Chelsea will be more pleased with the two sides when they go in at half-time if the score remains the same, because they certainly haven't played well. Madrid have been the better side. They've certainly got more options when the man on the ball has got the ball at his feet. Consequently, because Chelsea haven't played well, they're still very much in the game.
Oh, absolutely. Here's Carambo for Real Madrid. Took them quite a while to get the better of Stuttgart in the Cup Winners' Cup final, and Leboeuf there will get the free kick. And it was when Zola came on as a substitute and scored almost immediately that Chelsea laid claim to that cup. And we're hoping to see Brian Laudrup come on at some stage tonight. We've been led to believe that's the plan. But here comes, I was going to say, here comes Seedorf, but he didn't quite make it. Here's Hero.
It's giving the ball away disease. I think they've all got it.
Yes, he's done it again there, Seedorf. This is Babayaro for Chelsea. Managed to regain his balance. And the ball and the free kick. Takes it quickly to Le Saux. Casiraghi moving in from the far side of the box now to attack the ball. Didn't reach him. And the referee reaches for his whistle and brings the first half to an end. Your thoughts, Mark?
Well, as a game of football, as a spectacle, it's been poor. It's been disappointing, John. The pitch certainly hasn't helped the occasion whatsoever, and I thought both teams certainly started healthily. The pace of the game was lively enough, but the final ball, I think, from both sides has been poor. Consequently, chances have been few and far between. Hero at the post with the free kick, which De Goey obviously couldn't get to, which I think he's also gained an injury from. And at the moment, hopefully, the second half can only get better. And I say bring on Brian Laudrup, the sooner the better.
That's the half-time message from here in the Principality, Desmond. It's Chelsea 0, Real Madrid 0. About a Portuguese club in the UEFA Cup, I've no doubt Graeme Souness could be of some help, who at the moment anyway is at Benfica. Back in the news for other reasons. Mark Lawrenson, I just wondered whether you felt, as the players come out, we haven't seen any sign of substitutes, but I was just wondering not just about Brian Laudrup, but Tore Andre Flo is a player who's changed the game, both for Chelsea and for Norway when he's been brought on.
Well, I think what Flo gives you, John, is the pace in and behind people, and he's a bit quicker than Casiraghi, and you can see the players just come back on, and De Goey has obviously had the emergency surgery at half-time because he's come back on, but he would certainly change it. I'm sure Laudrup will get on at some stage. Maybe Gianluca Vialli has thought, well, we haven't played particularly well in the first half. I'll give the players at least 20 minutes just to improve on the situation in the second, and then look to maybe bring Laudrup on as Real Madrid tie, which obviously might make it a bit easier for him.
Sure, you can't help looking at Real Madrid even now, remembering those great pioneering days in the 50s when they won the first 5 European Champions Cup, when it was for champions, by the way, and not for runners-up. Curiously, the first year, 55-56, Chelsea should have been in it, because they'd won the Football League Championship for the one and only time in 1955 under the late Ted Drake, and they were prevented from entering the European Cup by the Football League, who felt at the time it was a bridge too far. Well, how life has changed. Now we've got an all-singing, all-dancing European stage, and Nissan, the sponsors here of the Super Cup, as we get the second half started. Chelsea now playing from left to right, and quite a good start, in fact, from Zola there. We're being given all sorts of facts and figures about the first half, the main one being that Real Madrid had 60-something% of the possession, and Chelsea only 30%.
And the second fact is, John, there were 2 shots on goal in the first half. Absolutely
right, and one of those was Hierro, I guess, that hit the post, wasn't it? But there is quite an array of substitutes on offer to either coach here. 7 can be named, 3 can be used now in European competition. Bodo Illner there with a fairly deliberate kick forward, headed back by Desailly. Michael Dubras was the challenge.
His right ball, wasn't it, from Seedorf, I think. Savio was just really waiting. He was stuck on his heels, and I think as soon as Seedorf got it, there was only one option, which was stick it in behind Ferrer, and Savio unfortunately couldn't read what Seedorf was trying to do.
They pay £8 million for Savio, the number 11 from Flamengo, and Bobby Robson, who obviously still has his finger on everything that happens in Spain, was telling me when he was first signed that he could become quite a star for Real Madrid. He plays wide in front of Roberto Carlos on the left. Here's Di Matteo for Chelsea. And this is Desailly. There were two balls on the pitch for a moment then, but the one that matters is with Graeme Le Saux.
We might get some goals with two balls on.
We just could do with the match being pepped up somewhat, and maybe Dennis Wise is the man to do it. Or maybe Zola. He's got Ferrer outside him, Casiraghi jumping, Di Matteo coming in far side, Panucci intercepting.
Great run by Casiraghi as well. I think Zola looked, he definitely played to pick Casiraghi out. He just had a bit too much pace and height on for him. He made a super run, he was free.
Nice moment there when Dennis Wise ran across to take the corner. He signals to the Chelsea fans who are in that block.
I think he's woken them up.
Perhaps that's a sign that something's going to happen. Leboeuf is in there. Oh, and there was Casiraghi with Dubry as well, and hooked out by Fernando Hierro from the near post area. Babayaro. Swinging again towards Casiraghi. And it was Desailly who claimed the shot.
It was certainly better from the corner, wasn't it? It was very good in that situation, Wise. Strike of a dead ball and just picked out the Burke, who just helped it on, and Casiraghi was unfortunate not to make something more of it.
Casiraghi looking for his first goal for Chelsea. He's had come very close, and certainly in the first match at Coventry. That's forward by Panucci to Mijatovic. Oh, he's beaten two of them. Mijatovic then got tugged a bit, then found Seedorf. Referee played a good advantage, in fairness, because Seedorf looked as though he was shaping for a shot.
It was brilliant there, Mijatovic. I don't know how, I mean, it seemed to Navi knew a cul-de-sac of two players, had no chance of getting through them, and I don't know how he did it.
Well, we'll be seeing him at Wembley, all being well, later in the autumn. Yugoslavia will be playing a friendly against England. Here comes Babayaro. Le Saux supporting the attack. Casiraghi is in the centre. Hierro very commanding still.
I think already it's better from Chelsea. We've had a ball in from the right from Zola, which caused problems. Casiraghi couldn't quite get there. And now Le Saux going the other side of Babayaro, delivered a crossing as well.
And that's aimed at Casiraghi as well. It's here at Monaco, of course, that Arsene Wenger built his reputation as a coach, and under his influence Glenn Hoddle got interested in management. Not a bad place to live either, actually, is it?
You've been looking at all them yachts again.
Just wish we could afford one.
I could afford the diesel for one, never mind one itself.
But the glitterati, many of them have taken up the opportunity to come along and sit in the better seats tonight in this, I was going to say futuristic stadium, but with the car park underneath, there's no question that that's been detrimental to the playing surface. And that in turn, I think, has contributed to a few of the attacks that have broken down tonight. But Chelsea are on the chase again here. And Zola is in the middle waiting for the cross, but Babayaro put it too near to the goalkeeper.
Great touch by Casiraghi that set Babayaro through. I think he's got a cross from that situation. You're not going to beat a goalkeeper of illness quality from there. He's got to just bend his left foot round it and put it in on the 6-yard box and look for people to attack the ball.
I think being Nigerian, he was remembering what happened in that match in the World Cup, Mark, when the Spanish goalkeeper very kindly converted a cross into his own net. But no fear of that happening there with Ilgner. Anyway, there's a free kick to Chelsea on the far side, given for handball. Di Matteo's in the area, so is Casiraghi. Dewberry's coming to join in, and Iltner to punch. Wise. I think he got a corner out of that.
He did well in a tight situation just to get something for his side, and no doubt about it, John, Chelsea have certainly started the second half rather more favourable than Real Madrid. They are the ones making the half chances so far and all the running in the game. Maybe
Gianluca Vialli's team talk has galvanised them slightly. Leboeuf and Di Matteo in the near post area. That's the flick on from Frank Leboeuf. Wise with a quick throw here to Desailly. This time it'll be a free kick to Chelsea, and it's Carambeau who's the offender.
Well, I think Carambeau thought it was hard done by in the first place by Wise, and he just helped him into the advertising hoarding, and I think it was a case of you foul me, I foul you.
I rather think the card's coming out. The referee is trying to separate Carambeau from the other players in the penalty area. Yes, yellow. Now then, can Chelsea achieve something here? Dennis Wise and Graeme Le Saux on this side of the pitch. Desailly, among others, in the thick of it in the penalty area. So now is Dewberry. And the flick out has come to Leboeuf. Oh, and that's curled, and that's come back off the frame of the goal. Well, it's one each in that respect now for certain. Good effort. Here's Wise, Chelsea pressing with purpose. In it goes from Desailly. Frank Leboeuf. Very, very close there. Had Iltner stretching but not getting to it. And more of that in a moment. But for this particular stage in the match, Chelsea have a prolonged spell of possession. This is Babayaro. Desailly. This is Wise. Casiraghi waits in the centre with Di Matteo. That's Casiraghi. This is Di Matteo waiting for it to come down. Gets it down. Desailly. Casiraghi.
It's a good period of play. But this is the free kick. Panucci with a almost miscleared header, and marvellous play by Leboeuf. Had a quick look up, bent the right foot. Iltner beaten back off the post.
That's a brilliant effort, isn't it, by the Frenchman?
Well, when you consider, you know, a defender in the penalty area normally doesn't think like a forward, but certainly Leboeuf does.
This is Savio for Real Madrid to Mijatovic. That might have livened them up a little bit as well, I would think. Here's Raul.
There seems to be an urgency about Chelsea that was sadly lacking in the first half, so I think the nail on the head. I'm sure that Graham Ricks with his Yorkshire twang and Vialli with his Italian have really steamed into them at half-time. They are a completely different side the second half.
Good run off the ball by Babayaro there on the far side. He's found Le Saux. And now Casiraghi, but they're back heel only to Panucci. Chelsea certainly, as you say, showing greater desire at the moment.
They're also not playing quite as deep, John, so it just allows your midfield players time to get up and help the forwards, which has happened on a couple of occasions already.
Real Madrid may be poised to make the first change of the match. Morientes has come off the bench, number 15, striker. One expects to see a succession of substitutes in games like this, but for the moment it's Seedorf. And Babayaro tries to avoid giving away the corner. Yes, it's going to be Morientes. Spanish World Cup forward. Seedorf. 3 in the middle for Real Madrid. This is Raul. Oh, he was given some space there.
I think Raul may actually be the player that they might actually take off for Morientes. As of the two forwards, he's been the least effective of the two. Mijatovic certainly looks a brighter bet on this performance.
Sanchis is up for the corner, so too is Panucci. Redondo. Roberto Carlos. Zola for Chelsea. And again. Haven't got many men forward, and the ones that are quite a long way away from him on the far side. This is Wise. Di Matteo. Oh, and Wise is in a tangle on this near side. There's some pushing and shoving between Wise and Savio, well away from the ball. I don't think the referee's seen it, but the fourth official has, and Gus Hiddink, the Real coach, is remonstrating with him out of your picture. They were tangled on the ground there for a moment. Players gone on. This is Roberto Carlos.
Good tackle for good tackle. He knew once he committed himself to the deck, he had to make contact, which he did.
Fourth official is more concerned now with trying to get the substitute on. I think it might be Carambo, Marc, who's going to come off and make way for Morientes. Here's Savio now. Seedorf. Joining the attack, Panucci, number 2.
You think it'll be a straight swap then, John?
Well, Carambo's definitely coming off. Just wonder whether Morientes will go and play up front with Mijatovic, and whether Raul will drop back into Carambo's position.
I think that's exactly what will happen, and I'm not sure whether it's just to change it a bit, or the fact that Carambo's just had a yellow, and maybe Gus Hiddink thinks, well, don't run the risk of him getting sent off with another yellow card and give Morientes an outing.
Here we have Savio. 1, 2, 3. Couldn't just get it through to Morientes, who's just come on.
You can see he's a talent, can't you, Savio? He's not quite clicked for him on the night tonight. It was a great ability, lovely first touch, and just dropped his shoulder and he's away, all left foot.
Well, when you wear the number 11 for Real Madrid and you play on the left wing, Marc, you have to be prepared for comparisons with the great Hento, don't you, of years ago?
So they tell me, John.
In fact, his last game for Real Madrid was against Chelsea in that Cup Winners' Cup final. Francisco Hento, back in '71, he'd been part of the great Di Stefano Puskás era, which launched European football in its purest form. This is Seedorf. And now it's Savio. Roberto Carlos is joining him just inside. Wants to play the 1-2. Didn't get it back, but Morientes did.
There isn't the same urgency about Real Madrid as there when they have the ball. Well, Chelsea in the second half, again with Le Saux going down the left-hand side, they've started to commit people forward from all different areas.
Yeah, I just wonder if that Chelsea have played 2 league matches and Real Madrid have yet to play 1 might have something to do with that. I think we're also going to see Chelsea make a change not too distant future. Graham Rix has been having a chat down there with Poyet, among others. And indeed, the Uruguayan is jogging up and down the running track. Forward by Panucci, and it's Mijatovic who's made the run behind Leboeuf, and it's Raul who's following up here for Real. Good skill by Raul, excellent skill, good save De Goey at the near post.
Brilliant play, Raul, absolutely brilliant. Skip past Leboeuf. Leboeuf couldn't get near him because he'd have had to give the penalty away. Le Saux slid in on his backside and he just bought the dummy and actually got the left foot shot away, and just after we criticise him for being ineffective, Johnny's come up with something.
The longer it stays like this, of course, the more the possibility of extra time. But if a goal is going to come, it could be a moment of individual enterprise like that brings it. That and Leboeuf's shot that hit the post, the highlight so far of the second half here in Monaco. Chelsea have a free kick. This is Zola to Babayaro. Zola again. Casiraghi waits in the centre with Wise. Zola's cross. Casiraghi!
Where you get the quality from the likes of Zola. Just picked Casiraghi out. He's tried to head it back from whence it came from with the pace on it, and just didn't quite get the direction right.
Graham Rix has got the examination paper out that they always show to substitutes, telling them who to pick up at corners among other things, and it's going to be Gustavo Poyet, who will come on for Chelsea in a moment or two. Panucci here looking for Raul. Oh, good touch, Babayaro. This is Mijatovic for Real Madrid. He's got Seedorf here, and Mijatovic gets a return ball, just a little too strong for Morientes.
Just a bit too much pace on the pass, it was a lovely little 1-2. Mijatovic and Seedorf.
Poyet, who missed most of last season with an injury before coming back just in time for the Cup Winners' Cup final, and Di Matteo is the player who's going to come off for Chelsea.
Now I wonder what they'll do with Dennis Wise here, whether Poyet will go play central and leave Wise on the right-hand side or not.
Well, Poyet, generally speaking, has played more on the left, hasn't he? But as you say, he may go straight into Di Matteo's position.
Yes, I think it's like for like in terms of the substitution.
Brings another nationality onto the pitch, doesn't it? Header by Redondo. Now got Brazilians, Argentines and a Uruguayan on there. In South America, it's full say in this Super Cup final in Europe. This is Seedorf, though, the Dutchman. Oh, he nearly got Raul through.
Great touch, Leboeuf.
And here come Chelsea 3 against 3. Now there's a possibility here. Poyet tries to slide in Casiraghi. The arrow goes down. I don't think he's going to get a free kick, though. Chelsea take the throw quickly. This is Zola. Poyet's in the centre now. That's his header. There's Wise!
Again, Zola with the delivery. Picked the first one up. Poyet just helped it on, and Wise came and attacked it from the back post. Always a great position to come in and attack. Roberto Carlos was stood still. Unfortunately, he couldn't quite get the direction like Casiraghi's header earlier. Poyet will definitely attack the ball from the middle of the field, John, and I think we'll give them better options. And what I think the find will happen is Zola will drop just a bit deeper and start to pick up more of the ball, and as soon as he gets it, I think Poyet will be off.
There's Leboeuf battling with Mijatovic. Brown says the referee. Of course, the coaches have to bear in mind the possibility of extra time, so they may not be in a hurry to use all their substitutes. I'm still thinking about whether we shall see Brian Laudrup. 20 minutes gone in the second half here in Monaco. Still we await the first goal in the Super Cup final. This is Clarence Seedorf for Real Madrid. Gives it and moves on to try to get the return from Mijatovic. Real Madrid left appealing for a free kick that never came, and this is Leboeuf for Chelsea. He's got Babayaro to his left. He's got Zola making a run forward here. In the middle is Casiraghi, being joined now by Leboeuf, who follows up his own run. And Chelsea have got 2 more in there now. If Zola can pick out a cross, they've got 2 men over on this near side, away from the Real Madrid defenders. Slack marking if Chelsea can get the ball in. And they're still there. Zola. Le Saux. Oh, what a pity.
Well, I'd say what was a pity was that Le Saux didn't get a shout from Poyet just to leave it, because he'd just got himself in a lovely position on the edge of the penalty, the kind of inside left position when Le Saux took the ball.
Just get a feeling that sometimes defensively Roberto Carlos goes to sleep a bit on this flank, and that Chelsea might get a man in on the near side of the area.
John, we saw it in the World Cup, didn't we? He tried an amazing kind of bicycle kick in his own area, which just gifted, would it be Denmark a goal? I'm not quite sure.
It was, yes, it was the Denmark-Brazil game, in which Brian Laudrup, in fact, was a prominent figure. I think he possibly took advantage of that.
I think Roberto Carlos, although of course he is a defender and a left-back, I think he finds defending boring at times.
This is Savio.
Chelsea's pressure on the ball again is like their improvement in the work rate and trying to get forward in the second half. The way they've pressurised the ball from the back has been so much better in the second half.
This is Redondo, number 6 for Real Madrid, to Seedorf. Panucci outside. Morientes in the middle, being joined now by Savio. Panucci, a cavalier-type run from right back. And forces a corner.
Well, his persistence finally paid off, because Le Saux just trying to really let the ball run out of play, and he probably didn't think that Panucci would actually stretch his leg out and get something from it, but he has.
Seedorf takes the right wing corners. Panucci stays forward. Hierro is up as well for Real. That is Hierro, just wide. That was a man on the post in case.
Yeah, good ball in from Seedorf, wasn't it? Almost a standing jump out the pack from Hierro, and maybe just closed his eyes at the moment of impact, because he rose above everybody. He's got some strength in his header, climbing above everyone. It's lack of direction.
Here's Babayaro, Zola to his left. Ripple of applause for Hierro, the dominating figure at the back for Real Madrid. He's delayed his pass because Morientes had run offside, but Mijatovic hadn't.
Just not quite enough pace on the ball, was there? Mijatovic waited and waited and waited. He just made sure that Hierro saw him, and Hierro delivered it. It's just it was 5 yards too short to putting Mijatovic through.
Making the run here is Casiraghi. He's got Sanchez at his back. This is Zola, the man whose goal won the Cup Winners' Cup. Could do with one now, Chelsea, from him. And it's his pass to Poyet, and this is Wise. And Casiraghi coming in far post, where he can be so dangerous. Desailly heads it back. Le Saux. Poyet stays forward. Edge of the area. That's his header. Zola nearly in there. Casiraghi. Babayaro to Desailly. Good play by Chelsea. This is Poyet. Deflection on the shot.
It was excellent play by Chelsea, wasn't it? You thought, go on, I should hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it. But all the time, Chelsea knew exactly what they were doing, just played it through. And again, Poyet probably had a bit more room than he would normally have on a Saturday, but at least he got his shot on target.
This is Seedorf to Panucci. Babayaro and Leboeuf there in a little bit of a tangle. Raul got the ball from them, but Morientes had come for a shorter pass than that.
I think Poyet will be almost like a new player, John, for Chelsea this season. He missed so much of last. Once he got into the team, he scored a lot of goals, attacking the ball late from that midfield position. We've seen already tonight that the way he does get forward almost at will.
He's good in the air as well. Here's Le Saux, and there are 3 waiting in the middle for a cross from him for Chelsea. Graeme Le Saux. Oh, it evaded Wise and the post.
Lovely run again, wasn't it? Panucci wants him to go outside, he comes inside, Panucci can't touch him. Hierro comes out, just little outside of the left foot dinker. I think it was almost like a cross-come shot. I'm not quite sure what he thought he was going to do in the end, but he couldn't quite make his mind up. He got his head up to have a look.
Chelsea. Zola closing in here, gets the flick back. Poyet is following up. Wise with the cross. Poyet's header. Far more direct in the second half, Chelsea.
Yes, and also the movement's so much better, isn't it? Now that Poyet's on, I think himself, Casiraghi, Zola, making lovely little runs, are taking in turns to supply the crosses and get themselves in the penalty area and just cause Real Madrid some problems.
Yes, and Gus Hiddink is preparing his second substitute, and we're going to see Robert Gianni. More of him in a second as Seedorf builds up the attack, finds Morientes, got Panucci overlapping. Real had 4 in the penalty area. Leboeuf needed to clear that.
That was a cardinal sin from Morientes, couldn't clear the first defender.
This is Seedorf, they're still well forward. Mijatovic in the middle. Gianni, who played so well for Croatia in the World Cup and then was all set, it seemed, to join Coventry City. In fact, technically they say he did join them temporarily, but he went on to Real Madrid, and Coventry, I understand, got some money from the deal, even though he never played for them. This is Babayaro. Zola's made a good run here for Chelsea. Just wanted a touch, but Ildner saw it.
Yeah, the goalkeeper did well. I tell you who did well in the situation as well was Le Saux, because he overlapped down the left-hand side and he just took Panucci's eye. Panucci thought that maybe Le Saux was going to play him, which really enabled Zola to get in that position.
Well, about 17 minutes of the 90 left, and it's going to be a switch here by Real Madrid. Mijatovic appears to be the man coming off. Now this means Gianni, who is a left-sided player, may well go into Savio's position in front of Roberto Carlos, and Savio go up and play as a striker.
I would think they'll probably just ask Savio just to probably play off the front man. Gianni's got to play on the left-hand side, he can't really play anywhere else, so now you really have got 2 speed merchants down the left-hand side. I think Gianni runs 100 metres in about 11 seconds, and I wouldn't bet Roberto Carlos being very close to that time either.
Gianni got that goal, didn't he, for Croatia against Germany, which set them on their way in Lyon. Here's Wise. Desailly. Babayaro is to his left. Le Saux is overlapping even further over. Diving header away by Roberto Carlos. Brian Laudrup has been making a series of runs down the touchline. Roberto Carlos there, very extravagant clearance.
Right foot as well. Collector's item.
Tore Andre Flo has also been preparing himself for Chelsea. I believe they can go on and win this from here. This is Zola. Casiraghi makes the run. Oh, and no flag. No flag.
Great ball in from Zola, wasn't it? Again, just coming off people, coming off the central defenders, picking people out. And when he played it, it was definitely onside. I thought Casiraghi, and it's like anything in hindsight, he could maybe taken a step back and brought it down on his chest, but he wasn't to know. Almost got himself, his feet caught up.
Situation with 15 minutes of the 90 left in this Super Cup in Monaco. That would take us into extra time, should there be no score. And then we'd be looking for a golden goal.
I think Vialli's delighted with the 3 there, Poyet, Casiraghi and Zola, because, as I said before, that the movement's been excellent, their awareness is very, very good, and they can all take it in turns to get themselves in the penalty area and pull off the markers.
I don't think there's much doubt that as Hierro pumps that ball forward, we look as though we're going to see both Laudrup and Flo for Chelsea. It's Babayaro. Good match. Le Saux. Ferrer. Oh, good touch by Poyet. This is Zola.
He just saw from out the corner of his eye that Wise was going, didn't he? And I think he played it obviously far too strongly, but Wise suddenly realised as soon as he saw the ball went, he thought, no, I won't be able to get the other side of Roberto Carlos, I'm afraid.
Chelsea fans with long memories will tell you that when they played Real Madrid on that night in Athens in the Cup Winners' Cup final, the first match went to extra time, and there was a replay, as I said earlier. There won't be a replay of this. They hadn't thought of the golden goal in those days, or mercifully of penalties. Here's Babayaro. It's a poor clearance from De Goey. It went straight to Seedorf. This is Roberto Carlos, who's now got Gianni outside him. Raul waits in the centre. Morientes further over. Away by Le Saux. Vialli. Panucci's cross. Raul. Morientes. Seedorf.
There's no doubt that Chelsea's domination in the second half has really forced Real Madrid just to play so many long balls. You wouldn't think it was like Chelsea have been transformed in the second half. It's the same with Real Madrid, where they look very neat, precise, very tidy, little triangles around the ball in the first half. They're now just playing 30-40 yard balls, which Chelsea are winning every time.
This is a reversal of roles, really, isn't it? This is Roberto Carlos. Savio. Gianni. Morientes and Raul waiting in the penalty area. That's Gianni's cross. And Raul was coming in behind Graeme Le Saux, who was very watchful there. Babayaro now trying to shake Raul off, and does. But doesn't find Zola, headed back by Panucci. This is Poyet. Zola. Poyet. Oh, well played, and he's got a good opportunity here to get the ball in. Well, I think Vialli honestly thought that Zola was going to do a bit better there. Well,
For a man of his quality, he should. I'm not quite sure whether the ball did bobble up on him, John, but to put Zola in that position, he only needs half yard away from his marker, and he normally delivers.
Yeah. This is Panucci. Savio. Seedorf to Roberto Carlos. Morientes. Oh, another important clearance by Frank Leboeuf. This has come back to Seedorf. He's trying to make room for Panucci on the right wing. Coming inside now, Seedorf. Savio might open up for the Brazilian. Or for the other Brazilian, Roberto Carlos, or even for Gianni. Oh, it was a difficult one for Raul, that.
I'm sure Roberto Carlos thought he was going to have a blast as well when it came to him. All the Chelsea defenders thought the same thing. Eventually Chelsea did well because they forced the ball out wide.
Not a bad little spell this for Real Madrid. They've got their game together a bit in the last 10 minutes or so, after Chelsea had threatened to take over.
They've also on a couple of occasions started to take one or two chances at the back. They've left 2 for 2 on the occasion. Sanchez and Eros marking Casiraghi and Zola.
Well, we're 10 minutes away from extra time here in the Super Cup. This is Gianni for Real Madrid. Savio.
Outside! Outside!
Morientes and Raul wait.
Oh!
Goal kick. Now, a moment here that the Chelsea fans will savour. The debut in a blue shirt, this side of the border, for Brian Laudrup, having exchanged that of Rangers in Glasgow for that of Chelsea. He's standing waiting to come on. Missed the first 2 league games through injury.
I don't know if you've noticed, John, but Gus Hiddink, the Real manager's having an awful, or had been having an awful row with the 4th official, complaining that Wise had caught Savio after the ball in the corner away to our left-hand side.
Yes, that is what he's complaining about. He's actually made a gesture with his foot to show the fourth official what he believes happened, but the referee didn't see it. There's Redondo. Oh, and this is a break on here. Poyet saw an opening, and Zola's made a very good run here. Poyet couldn't find him, or could he? He could, and it's Zola. And again, now others are trying to make their way forward. Desailly wants it played inside. And it's Poyet with his right foot, and Chelsea have scored. Chelsea have scored in the final of the Super Cup.
Well, it's only what they deserved. Poyet the scorer, but great persistence from Zola, and it just shows you a man who keeps his cool in the penalty area. Waited. Lovely weighted pass into Poyet, right foot. Ilner, no chance.
Well, he has had a good impact since coming on, as you said earlier, and that is well tucked away to the left of Bodo Illner. 81 minutes gone. Gustavo Poyet of Uruguay puts Chelsea into the lead against Real Madrid. And still they want to get Laudrup on, and there seems to be some confusion about who's coming off. I think it's going to be Zola when it's sorted out.
There was no doubt also, John, as well in the sequence that led up to Poyet's goal was a great run from Desailly. He made something like 40 yards just to get another blue shirt and a body in the box and cause some more confusion.
Well, is that the goal that brings Chelsea another trophy? 9 minutes to go. Real Madrid 1 goal behind. And the substitution of Poyet for Di Matteo, which always looked to be a promising move, has paid off.
Yes, most definitely. And I think you saw the reaction on the substitutes bench of Zola with the substitutes when he came off, and they all applauded him and gave him the congratulations, because for 20 minutes he's been outstanding. He's the one who's really supplied all the bullets for Chelsea when they're going forward.
1-0 to the team from the FA Carling Premiership. Now then, Savio trying to salvage something for Real Madrid, because that's what they've now got to do. All those years ago in Athens they scored in the last minute, so Chelsea will be hoping there's no repeat of that. This is Desailly.
Well, I'm not quite sure, John, whether actually asking Laudrup to play. He's now come infield. Of course, most naturally he's going to wander out to the right-hand side, which for this game alone is Dennis Wise's domain.
Well, you made the point that Poyet's got a very good goal-scoring record from midfield, and he's emphasised that again here. This is Brian Laudrup now with his first contribution. Very fresh and prepared to take them on.
Marc was complaining to Casiraghi that he could have told him that Carlos was going to come and pinch the ball up him, but I just thought once Laudrup went past the first man, it was a chance to get Sanchez in the penalty area trying to defend against him, where of course you can't make tackles anymore.
No, you can't, but what you will have now is an exciting last few minutes, because Real Madrid have got to abandon caution, and in doing so they might give Chelsea a chance to kill the match off. Anyway, there goes Casiraghi on another run across the edge of the area. They had to play it back this time to Desailly, whose run was, as you said, very significant in that build-up to the goal. It really gave Chelsea an extra man in the penalty area to occupy what was there of the Real Madrid defence. Poyet put the shot away beautifully.
I don't think you'll see Desailly make any more runs from that midfield area. He'll just ask him now to sit in front of the back two and just make another barrier in front of Chelsea's defence, which has done very well in the second half.
Yes, 5 minutes to go. Real Madrid on the attack. Seedorf, Roberto Carlos threatening. Ooh, comes off Leboeuf, could have gone anywhere, nearly went to Raul, away by Le Saux. And Brian Laudrup. Now then, this could be very interesting. He's up against Hierro, and he's got Casiraghi making a run right to left, but Hierro, a brilliant interception. He read exactly what Laudrup had in mind, and turns defence into attack with Yanni here. That's Morientes, little tug at the shirt, was it? Referee says play on. All, they're off the bench, the Real Madrid substitutes, and Gus Hiddink has actually got his jacket off in protest. And Morientes is going to get booked for protesting, I think.
I honestly thought, John, that it was a penalty. I certainly believe that Morientes was pulled back.
Well, let's see here. It's Dewberry, isn't it?
Yeah. Pulled at his shirt. It's a penalty.
That's a penalty. Of that shirt pulling, and that's what, you know, you can't... well, he's got booked, Morientes, because he was so annoyed he besieged the referee And Hiddink has actually, he's putting his jacket back on now on the downs. He was so annoyed. I thought he was going to challenge the fourth official to a little bit of a contest for a moment there, Gus Hiddink. But you have to say, in fairness to Real Madrid, that they should have had a penalty kick. Strangely, shirt pulling is one of the things that referees, certainly in that's a bit rough from Hierro on Poyet. Referees at home have been asked to really tighten up on shirt pulling this season, Mark.
John, if you're a forward and you get your shirt pulled in the penalty area, it's a penalty. Quite simple. There can be absolutely no argument.
Well, there might be an argument here between Wise and Yanni, and Morientes is in the middle, and it's Yanni still, and Raul's there too, and Savio's arriving round the back, but it is over the line.
Here's a goal again, isn't it? Lovely little ball from Zola, wasn't it? Just inviting Poyet to hit it. He really made his mind up for him.
Well, it was an Italian that put Chelsea in the lead when they won their first trophy against Middlesbrough in the cup final. Here's Brian Laudrup, a Dane. And still Laudrup against Sanchez. And Casiraghi's there. And Casiraghi across the goal. And nearly a touch for Poyet again. It was another Italian who won the Cup Winners' Cup for them, Zola in Stockholm. And now it's another of the Foreign Legion, a Uruguayan whose goal looks like winning the Super Cup. There are 2 minutes to go, plus stoppage time here in Monaco. Chelsea lead Real Madrid by 1-0. And a very good scalp it would be too. Morientes, though, trying to save the day. Tore Andre Flo is preparing in case he's needed. This is Hierro. To Roberto Carlos. Yanni. And Raul was the second man in. Here's Seedorf.
Vivan!
Well, I think you've got to say that Chelsea merited the reward for a second-half performance, which was far, far more effective and impressive than what they did before half-time. The applause is for Casiraghi, who's going off and being replaced by Flo.
Yes, John, I think also the fact that Casiraghi's done a very good job tonight. What the key was Poyet, the substitution of Di Matteo with Poyet. All of a sudden it just seemed to take the shackles of Casiraghi and Zola, and the three of them worked the nice little triangles. They all took it in turns to get forward or hold the ball up, and I think just that introduction of Poyet just changed the game completely, as well as Chelsea had started the second half.
Let's see how long the referee decides to add on for stoppage time. This is Morientes. Now Roberto Carlos. Just coming up to the 90-minute mark now. This is Sanchez. Real Madrid still grumbling a bit about that penalty or possible penalty, and there is Morientes. And now it's Redondo. They must know they can't be long. Redondo. Good play by him. Chelsea with still some work to do back there. They're defending very, very deep as Real press forward with Yanni. But that's harmless.
Oh, that's just a waste, certainly from that person. But I think it's a case of trying to get ball in the box for Real Madrid. The clock's ticking on. But certainly Desailly, when Redondo was pulling that left foot back, that trigger, he just kept throwing himself in front of the ball. So he certainly knows what it's all about in terms of playing for your side.
3 minutes of time to be added on as Tore Andre Flo got a touch to that and found Brian Laudrup. The two Chelsea forward substitutes combining here. This is Laudrup. Little back heel to Dennis Wise. Flo is coming towards the near post. Yanni. And whistles are from the Chelsea supporters, as you might imagine. This is Savio. Important they don't... Oh, I was just about to say important they don't concede a free kick here, but that's exactly what Desailly has done in stoppage time. And just about everybody going forward for this.
I think it's got to be a cross, and well, Roberto Carlos is not even interested in having a shot, so a whipped-in cross. It's just important that Chelsea defend well, hold the line, and attack the ball.
It's whipped in by Yanni, in fact, and Chelsea do hold the line. Tore Andre Flo just to hook that ball on, which he does. And if they can just keep possession sensibly here, Chelsea, they're going to get their hands on another cup. This is Laudrup to Babayaro. Flo is offside.
We talked about Poyet making such a difference going forward, John. I think you find it was he who made the clearing header there from the free kick, and we talked about him being very, very good in the air and attacking the ball in the penalty area, but of course it applies for your own penalty area as well as the opposition's.
Well, it was a substitution, wasn't it, in the Cup Winners' Cup final in Stockholm that effectively won the game for Chelsea when Zola came on and scored against Stuttgart. Tonight, Vialli brought on Poyet at a very opportune time, and it's his goal which looks like winning the Super Cup. Wise with the header on. Laudrup. Flo. Laudrup again. He's a cultured player on the ball. I think they're going to enjoy watching him, the Chelsea fans, this season. Number 7. And there it is. Chelsea have won the Super Cup, and it's their 4th trophy in 15 months. The Cup specialists, with Gustavo Poyet getting the goal 7 minutes from the end, have added to the FA Cup, the League Cup and the European Cup Winners' Cup with the Super Cup. And a little bit of Chelsea history here. We're watching the goal again, laid on by Zola. Poyet finishes perfectly. But just think, it's only 6 months since Gianluca Vialli took over from Ruud Gullit, whose foundations obviously these are. And Vialli has actually led Chelsea to 3 cups in that period of time. And if you're a Chelsea historian, you'll know that the previous best of any Chelsea manager was 2, Dave Sexton. So the new men at Stamford Bridge all round appear to be having the sort of effect. There's Vialli getting the congratulations from Eddie Nijveski. The sort of effect this club had in mind when they went so pro-European and so pro-overseas players. Marc.